8th grade,
Yeah.
and that's the building we were in.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like thinking.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sorry.
I call this meeting of the Arts Council of Alachua County, September 13th, 2021, to order at 5:30 p.m. First is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
Or a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, there's 3 minutes in the packet, one from May 3rd of this year, June 7th, and August 2nd. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is item 4, which is the Jack Durns loan application and agreement. First is Ms. Lyra Cruz Calise. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And it's also in your packet.
Her?
Yeah.
Good.
I thought it was me, but I don't know how.
Okay.
Picture really doesn't do it justice.
Oh, no, that's,
It's trying to get it on this end.
Oh,
So this is the piece. And the little piece. So this was created last year at the beginning of the pandemic. I usually work in Acac for human figures, but I thought I'd be sharing this one with you guys.
I like it.
I like it. You like it too?
Yeah.
I like it. How big is it?
I have no idea what's a 36 by 42.
Yeah, it looks like
Okay,
36 by 48.
yes.
It looks like a 36 by 48. Yeah. Inches, yeah.
I think this has been my biggest piece. I usually don't take this big.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve Ms. Calise's agreement?
I make a motion to approve her agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is Mr. Bob Dornberg. I don't know if he's on the line or.
No, he's not. We've seen his work before. I want to say this is the fourth, maybe fifth time that he shared his work with us.
I like number 1.
I'm sorry they're sideways, but.
Yeah. I'm turning my head.
Is there a specific one that he's gonna be doing or all?
All 10 of them.
Okay.
Are you submitting all of them to go up?
Yes, and so these are smaller. They're probably, I don't know, 18 inches by 12 inches or something along that line. They're like this.
Okay.
Okay.
20 there.
Oh, there you go. 16 by 20. Thank you for reading that.
What do we have currently in the auditorium?
So he was the last artist to be exhibited, but he's taken that work, and I do have this work now in my possession.
Okay. Well, I'm good.
Is there a motion for Mr. Dornberg?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And next is item 5, which is the call to artist update. First, the West Lawn.
All right, so we did receive 9 suggestions. They have already been forwarded to the Community Remembrance Program Committee for review. Whenever they next meet, they'll go through them and they'll narrow it down to 3. Those will then go to the Historic Commission for vetting, just because we want to make sure that whoever is represented there is worthy, an honorable person, not somebody who's done something that's going to embarrass the county later. And then those, assuming they all shake out, will go to the Board of County Commissioners. They'll make the final determination. Then this group will participate in the call to artists. So you guys will do the arts-related leg of it.
Do you know who what the 9 suggestions were?
Right.
Sure.
Ready to hear.
Is that a public request question? I can answer that. All right. So we had Cullen Banks,
Dr. Banks.
George Belafonte, which I swear he's famous and not from here. Maybe we have a local George Belafonte. John Horse, King Payne, T.B. McPherson, Stephen Mickle, Josiah T. Walls, Hazel Williams, Rosa B. Williams, and T.A. Wright.
Don't know none of them.
I know.
I don't know none of them.
So the committee has their work cut out for them to try and narrow it
Hazel
down.
Williams is Sister Hazel.
I don't know none of them.
Dan, you have a question? Or?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, why did you guys decide to keep it anyway? Why
No, we didn't decide that.
The county.
The county did. We didn't
County,
decide
they
that.
took that away. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No,
They took that away from us and decided to make it.
I think it's a bad idea.
I do too. I agree with the person in the audience. Yeah, because I don't know any of them, and if we're putting somebody that's supposed to be done so great for Alachua County, you should be able to read about them in a book or something. You know what I mean? Be heard of.
But Josiah T. Walls is pretty famous.
The two owners that I would, if I had to choose, if I had to do a person off that list, it would be Balls or Sister Hazel, one of those.
I mean, cause what I'm saying is still, put somebody that people know, okay? There's, those people on that list, I've been here since 2003, I don't know none of them. I haven't met none of them. And I haven't read anything about them, you know? This is the first time you actually hearing this list.
I know 7 of the 9.
But maybe that's the way to introduce those people to the community. Maybe they have done something significant and now this is our chance to tell.
Okay, so what have they done?
This is the question.
Well, yes.
Not the Historical Society, but
No, I'm saying,
Dr. Banks, you know, is one of the first Black doctors
doctors.
of Gainesville. He had, if you're familiar with Youth Bill, that building over by 6th Street, right by Gainesville Police Department, that was the first Black doctor in Gainesville. George Belafonte, I don't know. John Horse, I don't know. T.B. McPherson, he was instrumental in teaching swimming and recreation.
Isn't there a McPherson Center?
Yes, it's named after him. Stephen Mickle, first African-American federal judge, and his brother actually is a Mickle. Mickle Pool was named after him. Hazel Williams. Yes, Stephen Mickle was the first African-American to graduate from the University of Florida Law School. Hazel Williams, she did a lot of humanitarian work throughout the community, and one of the members, I think it's Andrew Copeland, she raised him from the group Sister Hazel, but her thing is about feeding the homeless and helping.
Okay, so if you're...
Wait.
Okay.
Rosa B. Williams, she was a civil rights person back during the civil rights movement. City of Gainesville has a center named after her, Rosa B. Williams Center. She also did a lot with mothers, midwives, birthing children, health care for women. T.A. Wright was a reverend, but he was also a pioneer of the civil rights movement. He founded the National Endowment for the NAACP for this area. He has the biggest church in Gainesville. The city of Gainesville is now getting ready to renovate to turn into a civil rights museum. And he owns Gardenia Apartments. He's done a lot for empowering communities to make them better. And then Josiah T. Walls was a legislator and also involved in Black newspapers.
Okay, I look at it like this. I kind of agree with Mr. Stanley here about not putting figures, okay? Really, I don't think we should put figures.
But we don't
honestly.
get a say at this point now.
Well, the thing of it is, I see it might be a problem down the road, very short down the road, that maybe the county commissioner is gonna wish like they didn't. Secondly, if there's already big buildings named after them and mega churches, why do they need to have a sculpture of them right there?
I just think from a citizen, I just think it's a terrible idea to put, I mean, there's a whole lot of baggage that goes on with that. You put, the first, that are real life. I think it's a bad idea, and I think somebody's gonna not feel like that person belongs there. Why you chose that person? Why you choose this person? You know, it's gonna create a whole bunch of.
Yeah.
It's too toxic for me.
I
For
agree.
a person, I think you should put like an object out there, or angel, or Lady Justice, or something like that. Just not an actual.
Or do like Miami. Miami has a lot of art, a lot of sculpture, and what they do a lot of like what her work is, like abstract, you know, like things that look like objects and pretzels and you know things, you know. But I think Gina, I really think that's a it's a bad idea.
It is.
It's really out of
The
our
board
hands.
made a motion to pursue this path, so, and they can do whatever they want. We've done this several times now, you know, taken them recommendations and they've rejected them. So, at the end of the day, you know, if they don't like this idea, it's not done. So they can always change their mind again.
Okay.
But that's
So whoever we select, there will be people who are not happy about this person.
But right. But I think that was the reason why we in the beginning
Right.
we said no person. You know, because I mean we live Alachua County. Like I said, I've been running chasing behind cemeteries in the most weirdest places and meeting the weirdest people. Okay, and we live in a very diverse county, and I think if we put like a white person there, then you got all these people over here that got a problem. You put a black person here, you got all these other people over here that got a problem. You put see, so you know everybody wants something of themselves to be recognized.
I think you should be person there. Anything from any object, but not a person.
Can we write a letter?
So what I would recommend, if you feel passionately about this, send the county commission an email.
Okay. I'm gonna write a letter and I'm
Send the county commission an email.
Okay.
Who will be selecting at this point now? Who is selecting the person from that list?
So the, Community Remembrance Program Committee, so, they're going through the Truth and Reconciliation process. They're gonna pick the top 3. Then the Historical Commission is gonna go through all of the historic records and see if they can dig up anything that would be embarrassing to the county. And assuming something does pop up, that person would not be considered any further. Assuming nothing else, you know, pops up, like all of those 3 people come back fine, it'll go to the Board of County Commissioners and they'll decide this is the one. Then this group would be responsible for the call to artists to select whoever actually does the sculpture.
Any other questions, concerns, statements about the West Lawn? All right, and next up is the fire stations 33 and 40 call to artist review.
Okay, so I'm going to present, as you guys voted and let us use the platform for this call to artists. I'd like to tell you about those features and how it all works. Next slide. So first of all, I wanted to introduce our team. This is a completely female-owned company, and we employ or provide internship opportunities to the students of University of Florida. So thank you for supporting these guys. Next slide. Before I go into details, I want to pay your attention to the relevance of a convenient artist selection tool for the next 5 years, because we are going to have more funds and more public art projects, because international and domestic travels are going to increase significantly after the pandemic, and the whole industry revenue and the always growing construction industry will allocate percent per art for public art programs as well. Next slide. The problem with all this project is always a communication between artists and art administrators, and we do have limited software, dated software that we currently are using for selecting artists. There is no opportunities for private properties to submit their walls for consideration, and the system that we are using are quite complex when artists are required to submit their resume, their timeline, budget, the references, and create a proposal, which is a very time-consuming process that many of them, especially busy and talented artists, are trying to avoid. So next slide. When we were designing this platform, we were thinking of our experience here, what we face here, all the challenges, and we looked at our existing platforms at the moment. They try to design their calls to artists more like textual list layout, while we are focusing on artist needs. So the first thing that we are showing on the platform is the photograph of the location, budget, and where it is. So this is the most important for artists. So then they can scroll and just select what is important for them. Next. Some of the valuable features are inclusion of videos and photographs. So in this case, we personally went to the fire station number 40 and took videos and photographs to include on the page. And it's very important for artists because they can have deep insight about the environment, what's nearby, the colors, and the scale, understand the scale. And also, we don't even know at the moment what wall we are going to paint for a mural. That's why I took pictures of all of them. So the artists may actually suggest ideas of which wall they like more, depends on what's in there. Another feature that I personally really like is the inclusion of Google Maps. So artists can just drop this yellow person on the map and see the location in real life through Google Maps. And I really like it because all the artists I ever worked with asked me for an address so they could see it on the Google. And also we can feature floor plans. Not all the artists can read that, but it might be valuable for some others. Next slide, please. So monochronic means the time-efficient process, and we really wanted to make it easy for artists. That's why the only thing they need to do at the first phase is just to submit the short form that has their basic information. It has links to the artist profiles, and they submit 1 to 3 images of their work. They can also ask questions or clarify if they need anything. So this is the most time-efficient idea so far, and it also fosters communication with the art administrators if they do have some questions. They can use it also from the phone, and not necessarily to use the computer. Nowadays, everybody uses phone for everything, so that's very convenient in this case too. Next slide, please. So how artists are getting selected? The first round, you basically just see the gallery of all images. You click on each image and you rate it from 1 to 10 stars. It's your personal perception of aesthetics at this point. Because we are going to have a bigger number of artists applying, because it's very simple, but at the same time, we create inclusive environments, we increase diversity. and we let artists of all levels to participate. But it's often that artists submit generic proposal to all kind of artists on the internet, because just in case something works, and we have experienced it before, we had double entries, we had entries that had nothing to do with what we are looking for. In this case, we can just grade them low and not consider, because artists who get the most stars, who are more relative to our goal, would go up in the rating, and we can select 10, 15 semi-finalists for the next round. Next slide, please. So here, artists would need to submit all this additional information that we are looking for, their resumes, references, more images, and we create profile for each of those semi-finalists. So you can click on each of them, check more of their work. They will have images and video on their work and reviews from their customers. But you will also be able to see all the artists on one page, all in one location, and comparing next to each other. So we will do the work by pulling this information that is important for the criteria. For example, if you are looking for the education, we will put education one next to each other. If you're looking for features in the museum, we say yes, no, yes, no. In this comparable table, it's easy to see who among those artists would be the best fit for a call. Make your own notes that will be personal for you. And next. So this platform has search artist tool, which you can just use to search artists by name, by rating, average rating, by location, in case there is not a call to artists, but some other needs. You can compare artists on the page. And we also have a feature of related artists. So once you're on a particular artist page, but for some reason you have to replace artists, maybe the call was canceled or any other reason, the algorithm will show you related artists by location or by style or whatever your needs are. Next. Just to tell you again about the timeline, first we just submit listing, which is photographs of images and the property. Then we review those all application. We select and pay finalists. And once we select the winner, it depends. If we want to have 15 or we want just to have 3 artists, then we ask them to create design. We pay them, so it's all flexible. And finally, each of those property listings are going to be transformed into completed project and featured on the agency page. So it's a promotion. Next. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to clarify.
I do have a question. Can we go back to the previous slide?
The timeline?
Yes. What do you mean by pay finalists and then select winner? What's the difference in those categories?
Yeah, so the first round, we look at all the applications and just eliminate those that do not work. We may select 10, 15 artists that are the most suitable. Then we select among them 3 and pay them. So for the current call, we are allocating some money to pay them for the design. So at the previous round, they don't have to design anything for us. But those 3 we select, we pay them, and they create design, and then we select the final one.
3.
Yes.
Okay. So then we'll know exactly what our piece will look like.
Right.
The number of the selected artists can vary. It depends. Maybe we have the 3D requirements, so the artists have to have 3D. Maybe we only have 3 artists among all who applied that have those skills. In this case, it's even easier. We just pay all of them, and they create their design. But it might be situations when we ask just for abstract, and there will be plenty of those abstract artists that you will have to narrow down somehow.
So in any call to artists, if we're using this platform, then there's a design fee that we pay.
So that was special. That was special for this particular one, because that was one of the things that I heard a lot with our last West lawn. That we were asking them for intellectual property. They actually did work to come up with those sketches of the megaphones. And I heard it again and again and again and again, that it's like, you're basically taking my work for free, and I spent hours on this design.
Okay.
So in an effort to try and curb that, it's like if we really love their previous murals, and it's like, I really like them a lot, then let's pay them $150, and then they can come up with exactly a fire theme mural for the fire station. Okay. So then
These are the best practices promoted by Americans for the Arts. If you look for more information, they do say that the call should first be based on artists' previous experience, and once you select finalists, then you pay them to create the design. Because for artists to create the design, it's a lot of time, it's day work, and they're doing it for free, while art administrators are, in most cases, are paid monthly by paycheck. It's kind of not fair. So the Americans for the Arts recommend to use rather request for qualifications and then pay artists for design. Thank you.
I'm just definitely excited to have it tried with one of our calls and see how it goes. And definitely, is there obviously once the artists use it and whatever, is there somewhere they can go on there to give feedback?
Yeah, so actually, if we can click, there is a link we can click and see how it already looks on the page, because I have already created the page for this proposal.
Okay.
And what kind of?
It's in the web, in the presentation.
It's in the presentation on the slide. Let me. So it's in the third or something. Just scroll down a little bit. Next, this one. Yes, and on the 4, click on the link. What kind of reviews you meant? What kind of reviews did you mean?
No, I'm just saying the artists themselves who are going to be using it, there's somewhere that they can put their feedback on that platform that say, hey, it's good, it's not good, or that we can eventually see down the line and say, hey, artists are definitely loving this platform better, so we can have that data.
Sure, yes. We will collect all the artist responses that go through the call, so through the form, which is one of the features. We can provide the report to the board and show who exactly voted, who exactly submitted any kind of comment. And we do look for artist feedback because we want to this to be convenient for them, first of all, because if we have artists happy, we have many artists, we have better and more applications, and we select better artwork. So I think we should start from artist needs first. And if you scroll down, yeah.
Is there a cost to use this platform? Is there a cost, like, for the county to use this?
This is first time we are trying this. We just finished developing it. This is first call that we are trying for free, but I would like to ask the county if they would let us use this in the future. I don't know, Gina, what the process for this is.
So if you do start charging us, then we have purchasing dollar limits. So whenever it gets to be so much money, then we have to get bids. If it's lots of money, then we have to get, not quotes. If it's a lot of money, we have to get bids. So Claire is really the expert on that.
We can talk about it.
We can talk about it, yeah, no problem.
But I took all our needs into consideration. We're designing that. Also, I was present at the meeting of the University of Florida Art in Public Places Board. They had a huge call to artists with over 300 applications because the budget was 100,000 for one artwork. So they had a lot of them, and there was no limit of media. It could be a sculpture, it could be mural, it could be anything. And it was 2 hours artist selection process that I went through, and I noticed what they had struggled with. They couldn't see this, they couldn't do that. It's just basic user experience when you can click on this, when you can come back, but it all helps. It all useful once you are getting into this. So this is our current call, and if Gina, if you scroll down, you guys will see the images, and we do put the requirements here. It's good for artists to understand what will be the selection criteria. They can share it on any social media.
Would we get, like, logins to this to view those who submitted?
Yes. Yes, like to view this, you don't need to log in. Artists do not have to log in to submit the form, which is easy for them. Again, they don't have to create a separate account. But for judges, yes, because we need to know who exactly voted. So if they're interested, they just fill out this form. It's very easy. And one of the checkbox in the end, we ask them to say that they understand the criteria and requirements and fit those requirements. And we want this checkbox because we want artists to read carefully what we are looking for and not just submit anything. So yeah, I guess that's it.
So has that call gone out to a press release or anything? Not yet.
Not yet. We have to figure out what the deadline is. So this is the only missing information. But I wanted to create it so you could see how it is in action. If we do have some changes to the call, we will change them.
And now this one is just going to be for.
This is the same one. So this is our traditional format, and we're saying it won't look like this. It would look like that, and we're going to try it. But you guys need to be honest. It's like you love it, you hate it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Irina and her team do better for the future ones.
And we are building, trying to make it convenient. I think it might be more obvious when you are using it and rating, but if you do have any suggestions before, please.
I just wanna make sure, I'm probably late coming on this. This is a website developed by you and your group, and basically the beta test is this initial call here for the fire stations, and but this website platform can be used by other municipalities. All right, cool.
Yes, we do have projects by private properties already. So if you have a wall, no matter if it's private, public, you can just use this platform to submit it, and artists will send their application. They will express their interest.
So you're just the middle person on this.
So everybody good? Ready to try the fire station mural?
Yep. Sure.
Okay. All right. We
Thank
have
you.
a second fire. Thank you so much. Really. This is going to be so exciting for like.
I love it.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
Does anybody online have any comments?
I'm thrilled over it. I think this is going to be a great idea to help streamline a lot of the processes. So I'm excited to see how this runs.
Looks
Thank
great.
you.
I like it.
Thank you.
All right, that's number one hurdle. They like it.
Let's see how artists like it.
Next would be topic 6, which is
one more fire station. So we had 2 fire stations. So one is the mural. This next one, and I have the photos here of the historic cars. They were thinking a mural as well, but then they changed their mind and they want to try stained glass with this as the inspiration. So does anybody have any thoughts and concerns? So they're talking about their bay windows in the front having something that is themed after these historic ambulances, because it's not a traditional fire rescue station, it's a rescue station, so it's the ambulance.
Would this be done, a stupid question, in those colors that we're seeing now, black and white, or would they try to go back in?
Not necessarily, it's whatever the artist, the stained glass artist thinks of in their mind, but they want the inspiration to be kind of these historic looking ambulance cars. And for it to be on these front windows, the entrance to the station. Is that one 40 or 33? That one's 33. So 40 would get the mural. 33 is the stained glass. Okay. And our budget is kind of modest, so I don't know that we would get the full size here. You know, maybe we could get a couple of the panels in the middle, because the other one is 17,000, right? Yeah, and this budget is pretty modest. 22. 22.8. Yeah.
The 40 is 17, and this is 22.
So 22.8. And the only other stained glass experience that I have is going in starting tomorrow at the Extension Auditorium. So probably by the end of the week, if you guys want to go out and take a look, it should be done. But I want to say that one was in the neighborhood of like 30,000. Yeah. So this is a smaller budget, so I don't think we're gonna be able to get quite the size.
I personally do not know any
When
artists
did
that
Alachua
work with
County get so,
how they call.
I'm just saying, you know,
But the one at the Acac extension, the new one is gonna be much bigger than
when did
that.
Alachua County get so?
Yeah, I wanna say it's, 15 by 8,
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
Okay.
Okay, so nobody has any changes to either? All right, well, so Lyra, if you don't mind, we could get this one out on the street for the stained glass.
Yeah.
And then I guess work closely with Irina to get the
Yeah.
other one out, however that works.
Perfect.
All right.
All right, so, item 6 is the mini and matching grant, right? Thank you.
I turned mine in.
And I have to say that I was a participant, that's why I wasn't rating, the mini grant, but I rated the matching grant.
And David has.
I needed clarity that, Alachua couldn't qualify, correct?
That is correct. So what happened was Alachua thought, City of Alachua, they thought that they were not gonna be having their event because of COVID. So they were eligible to apply again, but turns out they were able to do it, and I think it's like this coming weekend.
It is.
So they said, go ahead, take us out, because we are gonna spend less the current year's funding.
You know, I had a lot of problem with some of these applications.
I didn't do mine, I guess, 1 through 18. I first did the points here, and some of them have the same number, so how would that?
So at some point, you need to make a judgment call,
That's
like,
what I did.
Okay.
This one, they just did it a hair better than that one, so they ranked
Yeah.
this next time.
That's what I did. I had to go through and just like, okay, scratch, bump them up, bump them down.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists, I think a lot of people, they need the workshop. Very bad. They need workshops. Oh my God. I don't even know how they put in applications. I mean, the budget, how do these people get jobs? Really? Because when I'm an artist from bigger cities. We had to know how to do budgets to apply for call to artists. These people don't know how to do budgets.
I think that's a wonderful idea that you're suggesting, to have a workshop. Like, I'm not familiar with that. Do we have one already and people are just not participating, or we don't have one yet?
We don't have one yet, but we could certainly do that for next year. Maybe have it in like June or July, and then, have the application cycle open, ready to go.
Because, you're getting people to apply, but their application sucks. Half of them is incomplete. They don't answer the question. You say, is that a dog? They say, I think it's a dog. I think maybe it's a rabbit, but for real,
Maybe that's an artistic answer.
No.
It's open to artistic interpretation.
Oh, God.
And we tried to make the application so easy.
I know. I look through them, and I just say, oh, my God. We really need to have some workshops to help people.
Well, we are a local art service organization.
Yeah.
We're supposed to help them, not beat them up, Queen.
Okay, wait, let me say this. When in Miami, when call to artists, right? And the artists, when they apply for the call to artists, there's usually, if they do it in time, You know, even when they file for a grant, if you do it in time, usually whoever the people that accepts the application will go through them and call the person and say, hey, I think maybe you got a mistake over here, or I think maybe you need to rephrase that. You know, they help them, you know, bring their application up to par. Is it possible that could be done here too? But you see, you understand? Because when I first started applying for grants and doing call to artists, I didn't know. It was on job training, and the grant or the person that's making the judgment will like call me, hey, Queen, can you come in and let's go over your application real quick? And I go over and they'll say, I think maybe you need to reword this differently. I think your budget is not balancing out. You really need to check your budget. They're not doing the work for me. They will tell me where my mistakes at, and where my weaknesses are, and I would take my application home, sit up all night to fix it, and then rush back to turn it in by deadline time. So that way my application is up to par and it's not going in the trash. And I think that maybe that's where somebody or somehow that could be done here to help, you know, because if I really had to go by it, I only saw 2 people who had good budget.
If I may. I filled it out. I didn't submit it because I thought it sucked. I just read it and I read it and I reread it and I'm like, you know what? No, this is not going to work. And I'll be honest, I have never applied to a call to artists. Where I come from, there's no call to artists kind of thing. So I thought to myself, let me try this, but then I reread it and read it. You know what? I'll do it. And then I didn't know if it was, you know, part of the procedure that we could reach out to someone, you know, but.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Because.
Who do you reach out to?
Exactly. So working with RFAs and RFPs as an applicant, I cannot talk to evaluators. You know, as a purchasing agent, I know I cannot do that.
On the state level, they have technical reviews. Like you submit a grant to Tallahassee Department of Cultural Affairs, you could call and ask questions.
Yeah.
Before it goes out. So.
And they do provide some examples of other projects that you can look at. I've never done it because my projects are different that they have. But I think the idea here is that artists has to understand and be professional in their own media, understand what the expenses are. To the budget for us to see, we just have to understand if it looks like normal, right? If it's possible to actually do the work, right?
I mean, but the budget it's really simple and explained.
Well, some people do, yeah, I noticed.
But the thing with it is, okay, when you're doing the budget, you need to go out and make phone calls, see what the prices are for these items that you need. Then on the other part of the budget, a lot of them don't even understand what in-kind service is. So that's like, when you're looking at, okay, wait a minute, that's way off. And then I was always taught, help yourself. That, you know, help people help you. A lot of these people not helping themselves. Okay, well, all you're doing is relying on this $500. That's it. Can you mean tell me you can't go raise? Show me that you're trying to help yourself.
Maybe it's also because we ask particular questions about the budget. Maybe we have the, you know, this part, and the project do not fit.
I applied for a $500 grant, and I had to show that I'm not helpless, and I'm just not relying on just the $500. Because it says, okay, how much money did I got in my pocket? Well, I got $10 in my pocket, and my $10 I just raised from selling 2-cent cookies. Okay? Now, my in-kind service is gonna balance off my 500. So at the bottom, I can show how this is gonna equal out to zero. My budget is balanced, not, or just zero.
Stanley?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask a question about, the purpose, I mean, for your agency, do you want to just have a workshop where you teach people, how to do certain things? For me, as an artist or someone who's applying for a grant, that's part of I'm looking at it I'm happy those people don't know how to put together a proposal or whatever, because they're my competitors. So if I put in the work and know how to do X, Y, Z, or I research and make sure my application is jammed up tight, that's me. I'm glad they don't know how to do it, because that gives me an advantage. That's how I'm looking at it from that point of view. I mean, really, because I mean, you go through this work, it's hard putting together, submitting this stuff. You have to really put a lot into it. So, and your process, when you reviewing someone's packet or whatever, if it's not the par, it's not the par. That's that.
Yeah, but it gives everybody the opportunity to compete.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has an
You know what I'm saying? It gives everybody what I'm saying, but it gives everybody the opportunity to compete. Okay, just like Tallahassee, culture affairs. Okay, there was a little thing on my application. I got an email say, Quincy Cool, you need to change this, change the wording of that. Okay.
One of the
Submit it, and it okay. So it makes me eligible to compete.
They could ask questions, right? They could contact, and they couldn't make it, right?
Yeah.
One of the things the state does, as well as federal, is they do hold webinars right before grant time. The city of Gainesville used to have workshops too for their outside agency. I don't know if they still do it, but that could be just something. Just have like a webinar on how to complete the application, and it could be a pre-prepared webinar so that applicants can go and click on and have that like little mini training. So they know that what does in-kind mean? In-kind could be dollars, in-kind could be volunteer hours, and that stuff. And that's something that we can do as a local arts agency, Gina. That could be just a part of a service component that we do so that they could go. Just have some series of webinars. Yes.
Is this something that your platform could manage somehow?
Yeah, we can do. So if, for example, we want to explain in detail how to apply for a particular call, we can just add a video or a page, whatever resources we have, to explain it. And I think it does have to be specific per call or per project explaining this. For example, for the grant, we did have to submit budget. For this call, I don't know, there is no mention of the budget.
Right. The Acac wasn't
well, I know
as the
some of the. If you look, it did have a budget. The mini grants? The mini grants, they had budget, and all their majority of their budget sucked.
Yeah, we could, in this situation, if you had this similar grant in the future, we can include tutorial and example from the previous work. So we can now select the best budget and as an example and attach it to the next call.
Right. And I understand what he's saying, every man for himself, but if you got 10 applicants and only one good budget, but you need 3, now you have
got a point there.
Huh?
I said I agree with your point there. You have a very valid point, because isn't that what happened last time? Most with the West Lawn one, like it all got scrapped because there was holes in their submissions.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know how to do a budget, or they didn't know the information, or they didn't understand the information, or
I think they
until you like have the artist in front of you that can give you feedback of how this process works. It's not really fair, because sometimes some of our applications have been very confusing to people. They wasn't really sure what they should be doing, which I go back to, we might need to have those training videos. So when you're doing a call for artists, whether it's for a statue or sculpture,
why is the application process so different?
because we're developing this really through trial and error as we go. We didn't have like a model that we walked into, this is how we're gonna do it. You know, we're having to.
But I did share a budget that I shared with you. I did share a full nice.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
budget.
assuming, thinking about what art
budget.
tax funding is these are like for individual artists. These are for cities that's never, ever been a part of this grant process, ever. Think about, just assume they don't know, and this is what we're here for, is to start, one, getting some resources into some of these individual artists and organizations, and then growing them. That's our responsibility to do it. So if we need, and I think we were probably going to be doing all this if we didn't have COVID. That was the whole point of our conference. But we just have to, if we're talking about, we're going to judge applicants on some guidelines, we have to tell them what the guidelines are, and maybe that's where those videos are, so they can look.
I still think,
and I know what for the Department of Cultural Affairs, they actually have webinars where you can call in and ask questions, because it's been very confusing to a lot of applicants.
Yeah.
Which is what led to Irina taking it, you know, her company developing, because it's been very, very confusing.
Yeah, but
so you would think about, you know, of course you should put a budget, but you're on, you know, you're giving it what, $500?
I'm saying I just asked for $500 for something, and I still had to do a budget, you know, and my budget had to balance. I had to show that I'm not just relying on their $500, because like the question is, if you didn't get the money, will you still do this project? Am I going to say no? But my statement is, regardless if you give me the money or not, I'm going to do this project.
But that
and usually I get funded when I say
that.
that.
A lot of the projects that we do on all of us that are producers, we know that we're probably going to do this program because we're leveraging these dollars with something else.
Right.
But we're talking about people that have never, ever even come to the city of Gainesville when they were the local arts agency. Now they're coming to the county. I don't want us to make them feel so bad. This is how we grow our art. This is how we do it in the
this is
and
a
you teach them.
dog world.
But you teach them. You're here to be a service.
I think but we have to be clear in what we are demanding, and they have to put efforts to explain what they want to do.
Organization. Absolutely. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to tell them, these are how you do your budgets. Let me give you some ideas of how you can leverage those dollars.
So that's why I was asking, if they put in your application early enough, could they ask anybody in the office?
I don't think they should. I think there should be trainings before the application are done, or at least a webinar or something that an applicant can go to get those questions answered. By the time they submit an application, it's great.
Ms. Carol, I have put in a lot of grants, and many a times the places that I put in grants will look at my application, and wherever that I'm weak or wherever I made a mistake at, they send me an email. I don't care if it's state, county, or whatever. They have called me
and you know what?
Tell me where my weaknesses are, and I make the correction.
You have a staff. You have a cultural affairs staff in Tallahassee that this is all they do. That's their job.
But I'm just asking,
so Gina,
or
we don't have a designated staff.
Well, it is you.
Me. They have to go through these applications to make sure that they at least answer the basics. Do they have a budget? Do they have this? The budget could be still messed up because that's what you're scoring. You're scoring them on whether they can
everything on the budget.
Answer the questions and provide what you need. But what I'm saying is give some training so that when you're getting applications, we can be able to get more people doing it the right way.
Were you gonna have a workshop or something at Vanessa House?
Yeah, but the COVID happened, so we wasn't able to do it.
So that was gonna be one of the sessions to apply for this grant. We were also gonna have one how to apply for a call to artists, so Lara was gonna handle that one. We had one for the Gainesville, Visit Gainesville. They have a big grant, so we would go through and kind of help them through all of it.
That workshop will take care of everything we're talking about right now.
Yes.
Okay.
And then artists have to avail themselves of these workshops.
Yeah, I mean, you can only,
Yeah.
The county side, we do application workshops.
And I know tourism does, the destination enhancement, they always have a workshop. And that's what I was saying, maybe we have a workshop for some of these. Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. Are there any way that, like somebody had mentioned that there are already workshops available like that through the state and so forth? Would it be a better idea to scour the web and find those if they still have those webinars available and tag that along with the website so people can see this? Or no, because it's just basic, we have to create our own. Okay.
I would say create our own, because this is such an easy application that honestly, I can't imagine it would take a super long time to like record myself, you know, going through it on like a Zoom kind of thing.
Page 2.
It's like, page 1, and then finally we get to page 7 and define and date it, you know, and
like a PowerPoint.
Like a PowerPoint,
a PowerPoint presentation.
And you would do one for each call that you would then.
No,
that's what's next.
That's what I'm
So I would do one for the mini grant, and I would do one for the cities for the matching grant.
Yeah.
Because the artists, they don't care about your grant, and you don't care about the artist grant, so I could see having two.
Or put it on YouTube and send them and put the link in, and they can.
There you go. Put the link in there. Just link it in that. Yeah.
You have the link where they can watch the video presentation.
Yeah. And we did have a handful of questions. You know, I had one gentleman, he contacted me and asked if basically he could buy something for his art studio. And I asked, was it something that the public would benefit from? And he said, no. So I said, no. So, I mean, I had a couple of questions. You know, what's the deadline? So nothing super complicated, like I don't understand question number 2. What does question number 2 mean? I didn't have a single question about the budget. So none of those kind of questions. I had a question about, should I apply? And because it wasn't for the benefit of the public, I told the guy no.
Oh, well.
Do you want my scores?
Yes, sir, I do. All right, I'm ready.
9, 16, 7, 15, 11, 13, 5. Because one is the best, right?
Correct.
What did I do, Bob?
5.
2. 17, 6, 14, 12, 16.
You have 2 16s.
I'm sorry?
Got 2 16.
Yeah, you have a 16 here, and it's the second number down.
I didn't read my hand,
Was it 18? No.
14.
Does 14?
You got 14
You already have
already.
14 also.
Oh, I guess you're gonna 18.
Maybe you get 18.
18 is Amy Richard.
Okay, that's where we have 18.
18, right?
Okay, now we're at
What would you do that? Yeah. Paul.
Short Paul, 4.
Yep.
3, 1, 10, 8. Am I missing something?
Yeah, you got it.
Why am I highlighted? Am I?
You're not highlighted. No, that's she had a conflict. So her scores are all 0. So she had a conflict because she applied.
I cannot rate.
And did you need to see?
Oh, so where's mine at?
Yours is, where are you at? You're here. And so if you want to double check your numbers, you can. You want
Oh,
to make that
no, I'm fine. No, okay. No. Okay. No, you're right. All mine's there. Come say, why she got mine?
And so, Sarah, I see you've been chatting, and I'm sorry, are you talking about this process, the artwork to be scored. We're not scoring artwork, we're scoring the grant. Sarah, can you hear me?
I'm sorry about that. What was that you said?
So do you have your scores for the grant?
I'm trying to see where the artwork to score it first, because I don't know where. I'm looking through my emails to find the link to look at them.
There's no artwork. It was grant.
Okay, then where am I missing it? Because oh, then I completely missed something. I misunderstood something. So can I talk to you tomorrow on a certain, like, what was that?
So my preference is no, because then we need to reconvene another meeting. So my preference is just go ahead and don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. But at some point I would like to learn how to score. So
Okay.
is it okay we make an appointment, like?
Absolutely.
'Cause I've never actually scored before. Okay.
Yep, we can do that. Okay, so with that, if we do 1,000 for our top 4, Joanna White, Corey Cheval, Music GNB, and Why Not Theater are our top 4 ranked applications. So with that, I would need a motion.
They have to be 4?
So what?
You say it have to be 4?
So there was $1,000 max that we had advertised, and so if you want, for example, if you really want to make sure that Good News Art gets in there or something, then we can divide the 4,000 by 5 candidates.
No, I wasn't trying to add 5. I was trying to be less.
So we advertised it at 1,000 was the most.
Oh, okay, the
So
max.
you can give less, but you can't give more.
Okay. No, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
All right, so I do need a motion from somebody.
Okay, I make a motion that we,
to consider, I don't think I can make a motion because I'm not there in person, but I would like to consider adding Good News Arts as well. If I'm the only one, that's fine, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Splitting the $4,000 between 5 instead of 4 groups.
So I have one person shaking their head no.
I support that, especially since she's 7 and 8. All right,
Your difference is 36 and 35, right? If I can see that.
So what would that be?
42 and 36 between 4 and 5.
So
oh, okay, yeah, that's a
4,000
big
divided by 5, so everybody would get $800 if we go 5.
No, it's so little.
Give them $1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, this award used to be the $500 award, right? And we raised it to 1,000, to a max of 1,000. So still, they're getting $300 more than they got last year.
Still give them 1,000.
Okay, so
Especially because it was promoted as $1,000 grant. Why would we take it out now?
Right.
They were planning the budget, and we asked them to create a budget for a number, and then we reduced it by 220%.
I mean, out of all the applications, theirs was obviously dealing with children's programming, which I'm all in support of, and what their application to me was one of the ones that was the best. But obviously, I do understand that 800 versus 1,000. You know, they could use that extra $200. The top 4 that we already have. But I definitely think next go around, if we can somehow increase that, maybe 1,200 or something.
Or better yet, next time around, we start deleting applications that's not worthy in scoring.
Or next time we just get more people to buy license plates.
Right.
No, we just delete some of the people that have it, applications are inadequate.
So, sorry to be remedial here, but are we doing 4 or 5?
4.
I don't know if I can vote. Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, 4. I would say 4.
My vote would be for 5, but I don't even know if I can vote, and I won't die on the hill if I'm the only one who feels this way.
So I need a motion from somebody for either 4 or 5, and then somebody to second it,
Make the
and it'll
motion,
either
I'll
pass or
second.
fail.
I would do the motion, yeah, and the main reason is because we have already announced the number and it's not right to change it now.
Right. I second.
All right.
I thought that what we was up to 1,000.
Agree.
But that's fine. I don't want to hold it up. I'm fine with going with those 4.
All right, so right now I have Irina made a motion to recommend White, Cheval, Music GND, and Why Not Theater, Queen seconded.
Yes.
All in
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? Okay, that was unanimous. And then scrolling down, we have the cities one, and it looks like Newberry by
Newberry.
1 point.
Newberry.
That one was hard.
Yeah.
Did you want mine, 1 and 2?
Oh, yes, that will change things, yes.
High Springs 1, Newberry 2.
Yeah. Does the alternate member vote now?
No, you have a conflict. So with that,
Toss a coin?
Is there ability to split it?
so we can totally do that, so both of you get $1,500.
I mean, I don't have a vote, I'm just looking for both of us to benefit.
Okay.
So
Both
do I
are
have a
really cool
motion from
process.
Queen
I
to-
like to make them, oh, okay, go ahead, you make it?
Huh? Go ahead.
You gonna make the motion?
Go ahead. I said I'm game. I'll make the motion.
I'll say
Split it.
to split it.
Yeah. Huh? Money for the, cities.
Yeah, Newberry was gonna do the wraparound, the murals around the public utilities.
These were all cities, not individual stuff.
Cities, right, and High Springs, I believe, was the sculpture.
Did you do one
Yeah, which is part of our initial thing to promote sculpture walks and stuff, so.
Is there one before this?
Just not enough for any
Archer,
sculpture.
No, just, you can put a grass sculpture.
This would be
grass or
then, if
something.
we do it this way, it'd be 3 cities that have received one.
But before you did this one, there's another one you just did, was that for organizations or
Oh,
something?
that was for individuals.
Individual.
And what was that for? What was it?
$1,000, so 4,000 altogether. And then this one was, $3,000, and it originally was intended to go to 1 city, but instead we're splitting it $1,500
How often will you do like the individual grants in case?
annually.
Annual? You'll do this one again next year?
About the same time, so I think they were all due August, and I gave them to you at like your September meeting, yeah. So they were due late August, I gave them to the group in September, and now here's the score. But, Mr. Chair, we do have a motion on the floor, so Queen made a motion to fund both cities at $1,500, Carol seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is our ongoing topic, which is the artist conference discussion.
My daughter and myself have attended, different type of conferences, by Zoom. They've done some by Zoom, they've done some, like, what do you call it? Webinar. I mean, I think that we can still kind of create something like that.
So is it hybrid or it's online? What, the last time we were talking about online, but I see the breakfast in the menu, so.
Oh, no, I think, I think,
This is old, this is what we were talking about
Right.
before, but then we were talking about Queen bringing back a virtual option.
Right. So, talking to my daughter, she's this computer expert, and she says that we would get more out of it if we did a Zoom, and you do it every hour, on the hour. And now she said that she had to make payments before she was able to get the log-on information.
We are having it for free, right? People do not have to pay to register.
I say free, but who am I? I'm just Dr. Quincy Queen
I
Goes.
think that when it's a free webinar, on the one hand, it seems to be very accessible, but on the other hand, it loses value, so people will just not show up.
I think it should be free the first time, because that gives us time to figure out the nuts and bolts and fix our mistakes and, test our timing and whatnot. So that way we'll know the next time we can fix whatever's broken.
And I think at the end of the day, it's like getting people to know we have resources available for artists. This is how you apply for different things. And then also I do have some sponsors, and so we would just need to make sure that probably everybody, whenever they do their thing, it's like, thank you so much to our sponsors.
Well, right now it's just you guys.
Are you thinking maybe,
Well, some people are actually paid, like I have money, and I offered to return it to those folks because, we postponed it, and they said, just keep it, because they know we'll.
Probably to use it towards advertisement.
Absolutely.
And now, I thought UF, I know y'all not big as UF, but UF, what they did during the lunchtime, they did a conference, and they had everybody to participate, make an order, and the guy showed up at the door with a basket with the bag with the food in it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I did a conference similar where we didn't get the
Because it was
order,
COVID.
but we got a goodie box, and it had like cheese in there, it had a little thing of crackers in there, so like little snacks and little pretzels, whatever.
So my daughter was worried, Mommy, what you want for lunch? What I want for lunch? So they showed up at the door with a shopping bag with food in it for everybody that was in the house.
So the big question on the table now is Zoom, hybrid, or in person?
Yeah.
I would vote for hybrid because some people may still want to connect, and one of the benefits of conferences and just gather together. So some people may opt not to show up and use Zoom, but some people still want to meet each other. I want, for example.
And then plus, we use our cell phone. A lot of times, like I said, my daughter, we're in the country down a dirt road, and she's on Zoom doing a conference. Yeah. So she was still able to participate and still be, with the family, doing family things. So I think it kind of works out both ways. And then plus, I think it expands too, because now you can really expand outside of Gainesville, the city of Gainesville.
I like the hybrid. Actually, I have a upcoming presentation I'm doing with the Matheson Museum, and what we're doing, we have speakers, and the speakers will be present, and then we've limited the audience to 50, and then there's a link. So for those that don't want to come, they can not come, but those that want to be in person, they'll be able to hear the speakers, and I think we should still do it that way.
And we can have a stage and presenters that will be live streamed, and there will be some visitors who will be around and meet each other.
Right.
Also, these are the opportunities for sponsors who want to provide lunch and breakfast.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was
If we do that, I'd have to talk to our communications team. It would probably need to be in this room, or it would need to be in Jackson Ranch. So if we want things to be on the county, with our in-house expertise, those are the two rooms that we're
So then we can limit the number of people.
if we do the hybrid option. Cause you can see like in here, we can sit, or I can ask Mark and his staff if they wouldn't, like we have the cameras and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely also favor the hybrid way, for people who wanna come in person can go, and those who wanna stay home and watch it from their home, do that. But I do think it should also be recorded so that it can be,
Wait, later.
don't watch it at
They
that
can put
time,
it on
but
YouTube.
can still do it.
We can share the short videos of each session from time to time and referring to one or another topic.
No, put the recording on YouTube.
Exactly.
On the YouTube.
So Kanapa Hall is,
If we do the hybrid, we don't have the capability of doing off-site.
I
The
wouldn't
live
recommend it
stream and
either.
all that kind of stuff. It's in this room or the room across the hall, that's it.
I wouldn't recommend it either if they're doing the hybrid going off site.
Gina, I have a question. Can I submit a proposal to present a topic of RG selection process, especially we do use the platform for the call? I'd like to explain what are the best practices and how we adopted it. So there will be like kind of workshop, but also tell artists about the best industry practices in general.
That would be great. If you could send me something like what is the title in a little sentence or two about what it is, and then I can redo this for discussion next month with hybrid, free, this room, that room, and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, one of the topics we had on this list was understanding the county's call to artist process.
Yes.
So that would be that.
Call to artists. What did you see?
It's
on the other side.
Right,
Yeah.
the other side.
No, you're right, no, flip back, up near the top,
Here?
go down one,
I have
right
my
there.
Under lunch.
On the launch. And the same with county's call to artist process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lyra will be explaining, right? You will be speaking, so I could just add my portion to it. So we could collaborate on this one.
And like you said, we can get somebody to go to people's houses that's local and give them a shopping bag with goodies.
So you're saying like this room would be the break room, and over there's where the,
Yeah, we could totally do
Conference.
it that way. So people could like eat their lunch, their snacks, whatever.
visit in this room, then
Yeah.
classroom over there.
That'd be really fun. Yeah, we could totally do that. And for example, say it's super popular, we can overflow too, so
Yeah.
the people in this room can still see and hear. Because that's what we do for board meetings, you know, whenever it's just.
So the- You wouldn't limit attendance based on,
So it would have to be
On
maxed
COVID,
at
yeah.
the capacity of these two rooms.
How many people are we expecting on that?
So I was originally last year thinking, I think 75, because that's what Kanapa could comfortably seat.
Yeah.
Like at tables.
But since there's COVID, you have to cut it in half.
You're still gonna get, well, 50.
I mean, we could still do
Yeah.
50.
75 with that room and this room, that would be, it's totally comfortable.
See, there we go. See, you fixed it.
It depends how we promote. If we promote well, maybe have more than 75.
Well, since it's gonna be Zoom, they don't have to show up, you know what I mean? It's just like, you let us pick if we're gonna stay home and Zoom in, or come here. So, we got people online right now, and we got people here, so it would work out the same.
Yeah.
what would need to be from this group here?
So depending on how we like do meals and that kind of stuff, I kind of think I probably just need help with some logistics stuff. Like at some point, it's like, okay, we only had 10 people show up, so David, can you run over and pick up the 10 sandwiches from Subway? I don't know.
Sure.
So have we decided on a date?
So originally, we were thinking a Friday in October, the first Friday in October, but that was last year. I don't know if we can.
I think with Delta, we need to postpone it because many projects do cancel events because of Delta. Might be too soon if you do want it hybrid. Just my opinion, I don't know.
And I need to run whatever date we do come up with by communication.
Oh,
So
well,
contingent on
could
their
we-
schedule too.
Right, could we do it in November on a Saturday?
We can, is that kind of what the rest of the group is thinking?
I would check the Gator football schedule.
Oh, yeah, true.
I'm thinking about after the homecoming or during the homecoming. No, which is
Probably after the homecoming. Because the homecoming, that's a Friday. I think most businesses are closed, right?
That's in October too, I
October
believe.
1st. October 1st, or I thought it was the 31st.
8th. No, it's October 8th.
October 8th.
Yeah, that's it. Because I'm a teacher, a county teacher, and we're off that day.
Did they know that?
What was that?
I said, teachers know that when that day is.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's my little break.
Florida is home on the 13th and the 27th for Florida State. Florida is away on the 6th, and Florida is away on the 20th.
Of October?
Of November.
Oh, November.
See, I think the 20th is getting too close to Thanksgiving. Like that's the weekend right before.
Yes.
So what was the other one?
What was it?
Saturday, November 6th, Florida is at South Carolina. Saturday, November 13th, Florida is home versus Sanford. Saturday, November 20th, Florida is away, but you said that's too close to Thanksgiving.
I think it's too close. People may start taking off.
So.
Right.
Okay, so why don't we just say 2022, January or February?
Oh, we can, or November 6th. If you think we can pull it off in like 6 weeks.
November 6th, I know I have a commitment, November 6th. High Springs has a huge event.
And Gainesville has their downtown festival and blues weekend. That's their art show downtown, the 6th and the 7th.
So how about we look at some dates and talk about.
Okay, well, wait a minute. We're looking at South. How many artists shows up to the football game? I don't. I do. I don't. I hate football. My son can't stand football. My son said they touch each other. You can't do that.
We initially asked was gonna do this Friday at a Canapaha. Is it difficult to do it on a work day here?
It's best on a work day for my communication staff.
Oh, it has to be on a work day?
Why can't we choose a Friday?
Yeah.
And reserve this room in the auditorium, because it won't be a commission meeting.
Right.
So it has to be on a weekday.
It's best for them. I know those poor guys, they want their weekends too.
Realistically, what's the soonest you think from a staff standpoint? You need 6 weeks notice realistically?
So I need to get there, okay, that they're free and available, the rooms are free and available, and then we need to advertise. And so how well can we get the word out and get
We can get some flyers, cut them in half, and let's just pass it.
And I don't know too about our speakers. It's like, I don't know, Lyra, are you available this date? I don't know, it's like, I don't know what my calendar is.
So it looks like November or January,
Or December, it doesn't matter.
or beginning of December.
Yeah.
And if we did a Friday, then we won't have to worry about Gator football.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I kind of prefer the beginning of the year, because
But this is doing a day early, like a morning
yeah, if
workshop.
you do it in the beginning of the year, it kind of opens up everything else for any other grants opening throughout the year.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So we're thinking
January.
Friday and January.
Yeah, right now, all I'm doing is running around taking pictures of cemeteries, so, dead people.
The Fridays in January are easy, the 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Well, does anybody have a preference on any of those, or just who's
open.
available?
Who's available?
All right.
Now, we had initially had our state legislators, so we probably want to reach out to them to see what their calendar is.
They're not like.
That's usually now. Oh, it is?
So, yeah, session is usually pretty early in the year, and they're done in like March or so. So I think like Arts Day is like January, February, March, somewhere in there.
Well, it's kind of, I know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And it's walking uphill in the rain and the snow both ways to the car.
Okay, yeah, we were there January 16, 2020.
But
I'm
I'm open. whatever
Oh,
date,
January 22nd, and,
let me know.
yeah, so it's January.
And then that's kind of interesting too, you know, Sarah already mentioned we could have a legislative update, like this is what the state is talking about for the arts.
So are you looking for a motion from one of them on Wednesday?
No, I'm gonna check, with communications, see what dates they're available, see what dates the rooms are available, and then I can even just shoot y'all an email saying, it looks like January, whatever is it.
Okay. And then y'all have to get y'all little speeches together.
Exactly.
David, get your speech together. David, get your speech together. Hey, David has to get his speech together. He's the chair. Get your speech together.
That's enough from the artist conference?
That's so.
He will not be.
She said she's gonna get back with us on
Commissioner Wheeler.
January.
Vice chair.
And she's an artist.
Yep.
Yeah, she has a background in art.
Anybody on for public comment?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just wanna, let you guys be aware that on Sunday, September 19th, Sunday at 5:00, our annual, community poetry event is happening at the Thomas Center outside on the main line at 5:00, Sunday, September 19th, Sunday, so you're all invited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just from working for, kicking ball over. We got some folks coming from Ocala and River City and all that.
Oh, thank you.
So hopefully it'll be sunny, it won't rain.
Thank you.
Well, we do have Nicholas. We do have Nicholas coming through. Nicholas. The tropical storm that can turn into a hurricane between now and then. He's a tropical storm right now.
Where is he?
In the Gulf. He's
How far out?
well, I think they said by Wednesday or Thursday, Louisiana and Texas. Gonna, no, but we gonna feel a lot of the rain. That's if he doesn't shift. He doesn't do the book.
Gina, was it ever decided the deadline for the fire station?
So, kind of Lyra figures that out. It's generally a Wednesday at like 2:00 or something.
Usually on Wednesdays at 2, we post it on, so it all depends on when we get the draft ready and move it along.
So the draft, thank you guys, has been like approved by you, so she just needs to do her admin stuff, so it won't take long.
So we usually advertise for at least 2 weeks. And if we need to extend this because the question came up in the last minute, then we'll extend at least 1 week. So it all depends.
And we're starting to come up with a nice list too of people who have applied in the past, and so she has their information and it goes to all of them.
So it probably won't be the next meeting that there's a vote.
Well, I guess we need to talk about the artist conference. I was gonna say, I don't know that we have a whole lot to talk about, but I think we do. But next month can be virtual, like we don't have to take motions.
Okay.
I'll let y'all know whenever we have to meet in person, but I think we're.
Okay.
Anybody online for public comment?
They're all members.
I'm gonna take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I move.
Second.
All in
Third. Yeah.
No, I'm saying.
All right, thank you guys.
That's it.